An airline pilot almost failed FAA medical. Blood pressure went from 146 over 87 to 112 over 76 in 90 days. No medication. Want to learn more? Does this sound like you? You walk into your FAA medical, the cuff inflates, you're doing the math in your head, and if the number is too high, what happens next? You sit there and worry. 3 years ago, one of my airline pilot clients realized that his blood pressure was higher than what he expected. Now, this, of course, was before he went to his medical exam. So it wasn't really dangerous at all because, as you know, the FAA allows you to go to 155 over 95, but it was high enough to make him nervous. He told me something that I hear all the time. I don't want to live my medical day to day anymore worrying. That sentence really matters to each and every one of you out there. Because whether you're a first-class medical holder, second class, third class, your blood pressure matters. It takes you out of the seat if it's not corrected. I know that you're not afraid of hard work. You're not afraid of the uncertainty. So what I did was I built a system. And keep watching because I'm going to tell you all about this system and how we got these amazing numbers with this pilot. I'm Jill. I'm your aviation dietitian. I help pilots protect their FAA medical with simple systems that actually work in the real world. And they last as long as you keep following them. Not a diet, not some kind of hokey pokey restriction situation. So who was this individual? He was a middle-aged CFI teaching students on days off, so weekdays and weekends when he wasn't working his day job. He had no idea how to eat properly. He had no idea whether or not he was dehydrated. He had no real consistency or plan with his daily life. At home, he had borderline readings prior to his medical exams, and it just started making him get very nervous. He came to me in a direct message off of Instagram and said, I don't want to take medication. He didn't want to complicate a program. He's a very busy individual. He didn't want to track 5,000 different variables and go on a diet. He wanted something that was stability, that would protect his career as a CFI. If this sounds familiar, then you are in the right spot. What was actually causing his pattern is this. It wasn't that anything dramatic was happening, and there wasn't some kind of catastrophic situation. He wasn't drinking energy drinks or too much coffee. It was just the inconsistency of his normal everyday. When you have improper hydration in the morning and then a heavy carbohydrate breakfast, or you don't have any breakfast, no solid lunch plans, you're just kind of foraging for food throughout the day, and then you get home, and you have your kids and your partner, and you eat a very large dinner before retiring to bed, or restaurant portions on the weekend, on date nights. Those restaurant portions build up time after time and cause problems. Zero exercise, not doing any type of movement or walking with a day job that had been very sedentary was part of the problem. And then underhydrating, even in an office environment, you have to stay hydrated there as well. This individual was also kind of just checking his blood pressure randomly. He didn't get too concerned until he saw that number keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And that's what many of you out there do. You wait until the radar goes off. Get anxious about the numbers. Most pilots worry continually about their blood pressure. They have no idea, though, how to fix it. And if you go to your doctor, what are you going to get? Maybe 1 or maybe 3 medications. So, if you're seeing high or borderline numbers at home right now, this is exactly why I offer a blood pressure course inside my app that is called the Aviation Health Hub. Within this course, it walks you through learning repeatable systems that fit into your daily duty days, whether you're in a hotel room or real life aviation life or home life. It works no matter where you are. It even works on vacation. I heard from a client last week that said, I went to Utah for a week. I came back and I'm still just as fantastic as I was when I left. So it can be done from anywhere with great success. If you want to have deeper insight into your health, I recommend that you consider working with me to run private lab reports to ensure that everything is working well. That's exactly what this pilot did too. We ran a bunch of lab reports. We looked at blood pressure, we looked at blood sugar, we looked at all the things so that we could check out year after year. It's been 3 years since I worked with this client, but he is still checking on his internal systems. And you know, I am the person that understands health and aviation the best. After all, I've been married to an airline pilot now for almost 21 years. So for you, if you're suffering from high blood pressure, you need to get some clarity. You don't know exactly what you don't know. After watching this video, there is a link below that will get you on the wait list for my app or a one-on-one personalized coaching if you think that you need that. Now, what I want to do is let's dive into actually what we changed with this client, because I know that you want to understand my system for lowering blood pressure so that you can try it out and see if it really works. This is what the system is. We didn't diet. We didn't eliminate complete food groups. Everything is an option, including alcohol, as long as you do it safely. We didn't overhaul his life. All we did was install some structure. First, we worked on hydration. Hydration helps with blood volume. If you're not drinking enough, your blood gets kind of sticky and thick. When you add in hydration, it lowers your blood pressure so quickly. You would be amazed. And I'm going to show you some screenshots too of this individual. I have a whole video on hydration. If you've not watched it, after this video, head back into my YouTube channel and find that video on hydration so that you can learn that system also. It will fix so much of what you're going through. Second, we worked on this pilot's meal templates, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For meals, the first thing you want to think about is protein, because protein helps with your metabolism and your blood sugar. Keeps your blood sugar really nice and low because it doesn't spike it. We added in fruits and vegetables for fiber content and also potassium. Potassium is one of the key regulators in blood pressure. It's the second quickest and most accurate way to reduce your blood pressure. You've learned a little secret here today that your doctor didn't even tell you. Third, we balanced carbohydrate intake. It's sad to say that most of the airline pilots that I work with are consuming far too many carbohydrates. As a former endurance athlete, I'm well aware that the body can usually only consume about 60 grams of carbs, which is about the size of your fist. Carbohydrates, in case you need a refresher on that, it's anything non-animal. So it's your grains, breads, packaged foods, rice, pastas, cereals, and all your fun snacks. Too many carbohydrates increase your blood sugar, which in turn increases your blood pressure. When you start balancing your meals with a protein, a vegetable, and a 1 cup fist-size carbohydrate, it helps to stabilize your blood pressure. You would be amazed at what it would do if you try this system. Fourth is snack timing. Whether you are a CFI like this individual, or you fly airline transport or cargo, or even if you're a flight attendant, this is going to work for you also. You need to think about strategic snacking. This individual managed kids, work, CFI life, 2 households, and his day-to-day job. He needed emergency food. When you have long spaces where you don't get enough food, more than 6 hours, you're going to get yourself in trouble and your blood pressure is going to go out of whack. You know, if you have kids, you're constantly shuttling them back and forth. Things happen, you miss meals, the timing of things. Snacks help to regulate your blood pressure. The right snacks focus on protein, fruits or vegetables, or plant-based fat like nuts, seeds, avocados, edamame, olives. In a pinch, I had this pilot carry a protein bar and a protein shake. Kept it in his desk at work along with some other snacks that he enjoyed. Most of the time, I teach a whole foods approach, but I am also all about doing packaged foods when you need to. Within weeks, this individual's reading stabilized. And here's how. You can see his 3 readings on the screen, 90 days. So his averages became more consistent and his lows became lower. He ended up at about 112/76. Here's the part that really matters, the takeaway that we all need. He walked into his FAA medical exam. He wasn't nervous, he wasn't anxious, and he wasn't bracing himself. He was calm and collected and confident. And that is exactly what my system builds. Because now he knew the number was not random anymore. I had him track his blood pressure for 90 days in a row. It reflected the system that we built behind the scenes, along with the food that we put in his body and the fluid. The real win here was not about his blood pressure, though. It was more about never fearing his FAA medical exam again. It was about protecting his health and making sure that his family, who relied heavily on his income, would always have that income. He could teach his students and not have some sort of medical situation during a flight. He teaches students on his days off from his day job, and he needed to be able to feel confident that he would not have any issues. When you live medical to medical, there is a background of stress. They're calling it white coat syndrome. It's stress. You honestly don't know what you don't know. And the stress alone can alleviate once you have a system. When you install my system, you remove the chaos and you gain so much confidence. And that's what we're all after, right? You want to walk in there and own your medical exam. You want to have stability in your life. You want to do away with the worry. The FAA medical exam, we know it checks blood pressure, urine glucose, and for some, based on age, the EKG. That's never a full picture of your health, which is why it's important to have private annual labs also. Not because you're sick, but because prevention is what protects your career. You want to sit in that seat as long as you possibly can. You don't want to have to fix something under pressure. You want it to be maintained calmly so that there is no emergency type of process. In closing, I want to leave you with this. If you're seeing borderline blood pressure readings at home, don't ignore them. Don't panic, but know that there is a system out there. It's easy. You can learn it very quickly. I would recommend starting with my blood pressure course inside my app, the Aviation Health Hub, which is coming in March of 2026. Get on my wait list and you can get a notification to purchase it. It's going to be a self-study program. Or if you haven't had labs in a long time, and you don't have a primary doctor and you want to get labs through me, you can message me and we could do labs together. At least you'll know kind of what's under the hood. Health issues are always fixable, but you got to know about them. You don't want them to sideline you. We know that you need structure. If you want to go deeper though, and you'd like individual instruction rather than a video instruction, you can click the link below to work with me one-on-one. I take about 5 clients at a time. We talk confidentially one-on-one video meetings about your own health and what needs to be fixed. So you can totally protect your career.